Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Shamela Pula and here's what we have in the bulletin. Nurses staged protest across the island after viral attack on colleague. National Security Minister condemns violence against women and girls. And later in sports, Jamaica Premier League final set after semi-final victories on Sunday. Now the details. Nurses island-wide have continued to take a stance against the physical abuse of a colleague, staging several protests across the country. At the University Hospital of the West Indies, they marched around the facility.
We are here at the University Hospital of the West Indies to full support to our nurses. The truth is, any act of violence against any individual must be condemned. But our nurses are essential workers. They are out on the street day and night, and justice must take its course in this instance. We are supporting the victim, but we want to send a message, which is why the nurses are here, which is why I'm here.
Let me just say that on Monday of last week, it was International Nurses Day. And I wrote a message to our nurses, only to hear Monday night. Only to hear Tuesday night that one of my nurses was in the emergency room. Beaten by a man who took her from her car, dragged her. When I saw the video, I was absolutely outraged that a human being could do. I don't call my human being, I call my subhuman.
And that is why I am condemning this thing. On any platform I stand on, I will stand with you as you protest violence, just against a colleague, but a sister.
Yes. Thank you.
And I look at Nurse Casey as my family, as much as my family. And that is why I'm here today. I'm joining in protest. Kumbaya,
The nurse who is attached to the University Hospital of the West Indies was physically assaulted last Tuesday in Mount Friendship, St. Andrew. The accused, 65-year-old Robert Bell, was formally charged. The nurse is now recuperating. Meanwhile, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang has strongly condemned the attack. Dr. Chang says the incident is deeply unacceptable. He says the matter is being taken very seriously by the authorities.
Has got all the privileges of a businessman. He's a licensed firearm. He's driving around comfortable, and he just really overwhelmed and brutalized a nurse, which is in uniform. You know, it shows a kind of total disrespect, not only for that side of our profession, the caring side of our life, but she's a woman, a young woman, a young professional, and there was no hint of restraint. It was just hard beating. I mean, she could have been killed. Just stomping her head with the boots at his size. The intent was to kill.
And Dr. Chang is also expressing deep concern over the recent wave of violence targeting women and girls. He described the incidents as disturbing. Among the troubling incidents are the sexual assault of two young girls, ages 9 and 10, in Old Harbour, St. Catherine on May 7, and the brutal assault and strangulation of 9-year-old Kelsey Farragon in Spanish Town.
Events are put in past. It's two rape cases. Well, all may be rape, in fact, where the 9-year-old is particularly brutal and has really generated the emotions across the country with anger and sadness. But, that was followed by the two other 8 and 10-year-olds. We call the rapists, fortunately, and of course the murder of the UTech student. This, which again seems to have some sexual element. It's only unconscious and brutal, but it raises issues about some underlying dysfunction elements of society.
Dr. Chang also addressed the recent discovery of skeletal remains believed to be those of Anisha Dilworth, a missing University of Technology student found on a beach in Portmore on May 17.
There was a number of things that the police could use to identify them. What they're now looking for is to build evidence against the potential individual. And that it is just the police is able to track activity there, so there was some activity getting there, but they didn't find it because, of course, we don't have that level of, well, not that we don't have it, level of technology to identify just the phone signal, not as accurate as you do under normal circumstances.
Dr. Chang reassured the victims' families and the wider public that the government remains committed to protecting women and girls and all children. He emphasized that those responsible for these heinous acts will be brought to justice. The minister commended the Jamaica Constabulary Force for their swift and professional response to the incidents, noting that their efforts, along with community cooperation, have led to arrests and progress in the cases.
While the years we have been very focused on homicides, we have maybe overlooked some of these underlying social pathology. And from the level of security force, we're going to pay particular attention, both in terms of apprehending, but also in terms of working with agencies and our departments that are involved to seek to prevent this kind of thing. Yes, it is really worrying and of deep concern. We're going to have to take steps to find a way to intervene before we get to that. We are prepared to protect our society, especially women and children, of all, sector of society, but we have to take steps to prevent.
To other news now, a major cleanup operation was recently conducted on North Street in Montego Bay, St. James. It was done at a time when city officials say they are struggling to contain a rat infestation problem due to improper garbage disposal.
From afar, it looks like regular garbage pickup, but it's actually a response to a potential public health threat for several communities in Montego Bay, St. James. Even worse, the market district's in close proximity. Rodents dig through waste, leaving droppings to and from different locations. The risk of several diseases increasing with each sighting. Believe it or not, this was once a formalized dump site on North Street, but it has become overrun by improper usage.
We saw refrigerators, we saw microwave, washing machine being placed in this site, and this site is for regular waste. And as a result, it has now outlived its purpose. And we have to pivot, think about how best we can manage waste within this district.
The mayor says the site has become a nuisance and could have negative implications. It's been pestering many residents who've complained to the health department.
A proliferation in rodents.
And it gets worse, especially for people who support food vendors. 25%
of the food establishments that we checked during the month of April have shown evidence of rodents.
Mr. Vernon says the cleanup is necessary to facilitate compliance with public health protocols.
We will be installing surveillance cameras within this space so that persons who try to breach the stipulations that we are now putting in place, they will be faced with penalties. And we are not afraid to enforce nor to ensure that persons are prosecuted under the Litter Act and under the Solid Waste Management Act.
There's a partnership with Western Parks and Market Waste Management Limited. Mark Jones, public cleansing manager, says there will be strict monitoring.
So going forward, we will be patrolling the space to ensure that no illegal dumping takes place. We have our enforcement team, we have the municipal team that is partnering with us, ensuring that no more illegal dumping is taking place here.
The mayor says there will also be sensitization exercises for residents.
For it to work properly, we have to eradicate some of these sites. Because while you might place the traps and the necessary mechanisms at the location to deal with the rodents, if they have an alternative, i.e. garbage, food scraps and such, they will become less effective.
Romarda Lyons, TVJ News.
Still in St. James, the Public Health Department is urging residents to keep the parish clean to prevent diseases spread by not just rats but mosquitoes. The Aedes mosquito index in St. James currently stands at 9%. According to Acting Chief Public Health Inspector Sharika Lewis, inspections carried out in April covered 14,000 locations, of which 1,300 were found to have mosquito breeding sites. Ms. Lewis also reported that 51,000 water containers were examined during the inspections, and 2,400 of them were found to be breeding mosquitoes.
I just want to send out an urgent appeal to the citizens of St. James to participate with the health department in stemming mosquito breeding in the parish. I am also calling on the councillors to join with the health department in spreading the message of mosquito control, particularly search and destroy, source reduction.
She said the health department is also taking steps to inform and educate political leaders on the matter.
I will also be inviting the councillors to a training session so that you can be properly equipped with the basic knowledge and skills that are needed to assist us in spreading the message of the importance of mosquito control within our parish. We're coming on to the hurricane season, and we want to be vigilant, or we want to continue to be vigilant.
Earlier this year, the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, issued an epidemiological alert regarding the increased risk of dengue outbreaks in the Americas, including the Caribbean. PAHO further urged countries to strengthen their surveillance, early diagnosis, and clinical management to address potential increases in dengue cases. Dengue is an infection caused by a virus spread by the bite of an infected Aedes mosquito. Shamela Pullen, TVJ News. It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Residents of Killancally, St. Mary are restive over a road rehabilitation project currently being undertaken in their community. They are glad their community was chosen for rehabilitation under the Spark program. However, they believe fundamental work should come first.
To enjoy this project, we'll have to have a complete project. The project is incomplete without the relaying of the water pipes. These pipes are somewhat, perhaps over 50 years now, and they are porous, they are broken. Several places, when water comes to this community, it is like about 25% of the water pumped here that the citizens are getting. 75% is going to waste because of broken main.
It don't make sense. For later on, it will be bubbling up in the asphalt, and they had to dig again and spoil the road.
Member of Parliament for Central St. Mary, Dr. Maurice Guy, is calling on the relevant agencies to intervene.
We have been assured by the project managers, which is the National Works Agency, that this will be done. But we see a situation where curb and channel are being installed. We hear now that the road is going to be dug up shortly, and we see no evidence of pipes being laid. Now, the constituency and the citizens of Killancally have placed reliance on the word of the Prime Minister that where there are defective NWC installation, that those pipes will be replaced. There are 3-inch pipes that have been laid over 60 years now. And we cannot afford for the money to be spent to rehabilitate this road, and at the end of the day it is dug up. So I want to see some action on the part of the National Works Agency in conjunction with National Water Commission to see that the pipes are laid before the entire road is repaired.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
The Jamaican poultry industry contributes 300,000 jobs directly and indirectly while generating $3.6 billion in tax revenues for the economy. This according to a study conducted by Ernst & Young Caribbean for the Caribbean Poultry Association. The study also pointed out that the activities of local poultry operations have a multiplier effect on the communities in which they operate. Additionally, a significant number of the players in the local poultry industry are women. Jamaica's poultry industry produces approximately 300,000 tons of poultry meat annually, accounting for the 80% of the animal protein consumed in the Caribbean. Further afield, a 3-day strike against New Jersey Transit is over. The union representing striking engineers and trainmen announced Sunday that it has reached a tentative agreement on a new labor contract with New Jersey Transit. The union did not reveal the terms of the tentative deal and New Jersey Transit did not comment. The trains are expected to run on a normal schedule on Monday, but the tentative deal still needs to be ratified by a majority of the rank-and-file union members. The strike that started Friday and had the potential to greatly disrupt service.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service (TTPS) is sounding the alarm about a significant increase in fraud-related crimes targeting the financial accounts of unsuspecting victims. According to Senior Superintendent Michael Jackman of the TTPS Fraud Squad, scammers are sending fake emails and text messages claiming there are urgent issues with their bank accounts. The TTPS is urging citizens to remain vigilant, avoid clicking on suspicious links, and immediately deleting such messages. On the international scene, at least one person is dead, 2 missing, and nearly 3,000 people remained evacuated Sunday in dozens of municipalities in the Argentine province of Buenos Aires. This after heavy rains pummeled the northern part of the region since Friday, causing rivers to burst their banks, which has caused widespread flooding. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Anthony Atkinson.
We take another break. Sports is next.